Yo, what is going on, everybody? Executives here coming at you with choosing my main and my alt for Battle for Azeroth. Now, in the beta right now. It is a open beta. I'm pretty sure anybody can access this. All you have to do is just click from Battle for Azeroth to Beta Battle for Azeroth down here in the Battle.net launcher. But anyways, I'm going to hop right into this. So I like to try to change mains every expansion. If you noticed, from MOP, I mained a warrior. Then in WoD, I made a Warlock, and in Legion, I made a Mistweaver. So I still like to keep those two previous mains as alts, or three previous mains as alts, but I still might be running a Mistweaver main. But I'm going to show you guys what I like and don't like about the classes that I'm the most curious about. Now, this is very subjective. I'm not going to give my feedback on a few classes like Rogue or Hunter just because I simply don't necessarily care about those classes that much, to be honest. No motivation behind them because I didn't really like them in Legion. So I'm going to start off with the Monk. Now, Mistweaver is very different. Well, not really very different, but it's a little bit different from what it was in Legion. Now, the biggest difference is you can't channel Soothing Mist while running. So Soothing Mist is the same thing. It's got a 0.5 second global. And basically you can channel it, and then all your other spells become instant cast while you're channeling Soothing Mist. So the problem that I have is that you can't do it while moving. So if I was here and I'm trying to heal, this city guard, I can't do it behind the pillar because, I can't channel it while moving. Now, I forgot to mention that a lot of these classes and stuff that I'm going to be covering is mainly for PvP. My sole focus in the game is pretty much 3v3 Arena and Rated Battlegrounds, but I don't think I'll be pushing for Hero again in Battle for Azeroth. Anyways, so that's probably the thing I hate the most about Mistweaver. Now, granted, it was kind of broken, being able to channel and then move behind a pillar and still being able to heal this dude behind a pillar. But yeah, so I'll go over some of the changes and some of the stuff I like and I don't like. So one of the biggest things right off the bat is not only the Soothing Mist, but Thunder Focus Tea was changed. So Thunder Focus Tea used to make your next Enveloping Mist instant cast. It also used to make your Vivify cost no mana, and it would give you multiple charges of Renewing Mist, and it made your Essence font channel faster. So now it's a little bit different. Enveloping Mist immediately heals the target. Renewing Mist increases the duration by 10 seconds. You now have 2 charges of Renewing Mist. And then Vivify costs no mana, and for whatever reason, Rising Sun Kick's cooldown is reduced by 9 seconds. So now also Rising Sun Kick, I'm pretty sure it's a talent or something. It heals, Rising Sun Kick heals all allies with your Renewing Mist, Enveloping Mist, or Essence font for 234 and extends those effects by 2 seconds. So that's super strong for Enveloping Mist since it only lasts 7 seconds and increases your healing done by 40%. If you can increase the duration of that by 2 seconds, that's very mana efficient. Anyways, I don't know why I'm covering changes. I should be covering what classes I'm going to play. So Mistweaver is definitely going to be one of them. I'm not sure if I want Mistweaver to be my alt. I'm not sure if I want Mistweaver to be my main. I just don't know yet. So it's definitely on the list, though. They haven't changed too much. I like what they've done with the honor talents. I like what they've done with some of these changes, like Renewing Mist having 2 charges. And then stuff like Leg Sweep being baseline. I don't like Paralysis being on a 45-second cooldown. I don't like the Essence font change, or I'm sorry, the Thunder Focus Tea changes. I don't like a few other things like that. But hey, we do get a disarm, though. Mistweavers get a disarm. You fire off a rope spear, grappling the target's weapon and shield, returning them to you for 6 seconds. So we get a disarm, which is kind of sick. 30 yards range, too, so it is a range to disarm. Yeah, Mistweaver is definitely on the list. Now, I like to always have DPS, too, and I'm not really that big of a fan of Windwalker because, to be honest, they're kind of gay. They play really weird. I'm sorry for using that word, but they play very, you hit, you get in, and then you get out. You get hit, you get in, and then, you do your stuns, and then you get out. So that's probably what I didn't really like about Windwalker, is that it's even though it's very mobile, it's not very tanky, and everyone plays it, very weird. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to move on to Shadow Priest. So I like Shadow Priest a little bit. I really liked it in Legion, especially towards the last season. I think I almost got 2200 on it. It was very fun to play, especially with a Destro Warlock and a Shaman. Super fun. But I don't know if I really like it in Battle for Azeroth. It's kind of slow. Now, I understand that a lot of the scaling with Battle for Azeroth isn't in place yet, aka you don't have gear, you're still 110, you're not even max level, and a bunch of stuff like that. But you can base, I base every class off of their most basic version of the class. So once they are level 10, 110 and they don't really have that much gear, I'm still basing all the classes off of that because every class will scale up tremendously with a lot of gear and with a lot more levels, which equals more haste, more damage, a bunch of stuff like that. But I still base every class off of their most basic version of the class. Anyways, I like Shadow Priest, but it's really slow and you really don't seem to do that much damage at all. Now, I'm doing some good damage here, but, you know, outside of Void Form and outside of a lot of these spells and abilities, it just feels really clunky. Now, it is pretty slow, and I think that's just because we don't have any haste, and you'll, of course, have haste more towards the end of the expansion. But it just feels weird, you know. The talent choices are kind of weird. You have to choose between, like, speed or damage, and you also have to try and kind of choose between some weird stuff. You get Psychic Quarterback, but yeah. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not really sure if I'm going to play Shadow Priest. I was actually going to go into BFA maining a Shadow Priest, but now since I got a chance to play the beta, I think my mind has changed a little bit, and I'll get into the class that I like the most. Next is Warrior. Now, Warrior is 100% going to be one of my alts. So right now we have Mistweaver as I would say my main. I'll get to the other class later. But we have Mistweaver and we have Warrior with maybe a Shadow Priest in there, depending on if they do a little bit more changes. But I really like Warrior because they've got a different playstyle than some of the other classes. Now you have Overpower back, but Overpower doesn't really do what you think it does. It's a completely different mechanic now. It increases the damage in your next Mortal Strike. But it's still the same basic playstyle. You charge in, you get rend up, you try and do as much damage as you can, and you hit pretty hard. So I really like Warrior because it's got a few more cooldowns back. It's got Avatar back. You've got Die by Sword. You've got Battle Cry. Or, I'm sorry, Battle Shout, and a few other things. So I like Warrior. I still don't like. It's not Mop. It will never be a Mop Warrior, but it's still fun to play. So I'm going to show you some of the damage here. Everything is on global, so it just sucks. But you definitely do some pretty decent damage when you got Avatar and Warbreaker popped, especially if you've got 2 Overpower stacks. Your Mortal Strike definitely starts hitting pretty hard. So I like it a lot. Plus you get some cool talent choices when you use the PvP talents. Like you have Sharpened Blade, Death Sentence, Rallying Cry. You also get Disarm Spell Flight. Like you can go full defensive or full offensive. That's what I like the most. But it's pretty fun to play. And I'll definitely be leveling one a little bit later in the expansion. My next class is I'm gonna just explain down the list. So I had Death Knight. I'm not gonna go into that much detail. I have Shaman. Now Shamans are pretty fun, but man, did they feel so nerfed. You know, everyone knows that Shaman was probably the best class in Legion. Elemental was insanely broken. Resto Shaman, best healer in the game because of Earth Shield, because of Healing Tide, Ascendance, Link. You had just so many defensive cooldowns as opposed to other healers who didn't. Now, Shaman in Battle for Azeroth doesn't really feel as good as it does. I personally like Enhance the most, as do a lot of people, but they started to go Elemental once they realized how broken Elemental was in Legion. But, you know, Enhance is a lot different than what it was in Legion. It's a little bit weird because you have Lava Lash now is your Rage Dump, and Storm Strike is now, you know, sometimes your damage. A lot of your damage comes from Lightning Bolt from the talents when you have Overcharge. But anyways, I'll just summarize it. It's kind of weird. You know, I don't really know how to explain it. It doesn't really feel as good, especially without a lot of the haste, even though you still do get Bloodlust from PvP talents, without a lot of the haste, it just feels really clunky. So I can't really base it off just that experience where I don't really have that much haste, so I don't really like it. But hey, that's what I'm going to do. So next, I'll move on to Druid and Mage, Demon Hunter, and Warlock, and then I'll get into the last thing. So Druid, I liked Boomkin a lot. Basically the exact same playstyle as before. Really not many changes to Boomkin at all. You still have your Moonfire, Sunfire, and then New Moon into Full Moon with Star Surges and an Incarn. Very basic, and I actually liked Boomy a lot in Legion, but I didn't like the fact that it was too easy to play. To be honest, it was really too easy to do damage, and it still kind of is a little bit too easy to do damage. You don't really need that much. Don't really need that much uptime to do a lot of damage. And I'll show you here. Let me pop Incarn. Let me do some New Moons. I'll just show you the damage I do, and then you guys. Full Moon hit for about 4k non-crit, and my Star Surge crit for about 3k, so a lot of damage. 2k Star Surge, that's definitely a lot of damage. See, that's what I don't like. You don't really have to cast that much, and you just do a lot of damage. Now, that's good for the player, but that sucks when you go up against a Boomy. Yeah, Boomy's still pretty fun. Really not much has changed. All you got back was Hibernate. You got back Soothe for some reason. And that's pretty much it. You really didn't gain or lose that many abilities. Yeah, it's almost the exact same as it was in Legion, which I like. I might level 1 as an alt. That'd definitely be a lot later in the expansion. Now I'm going to move on to Mage. Mages are freaking broken in BFA, dude. The damage is just insane. Glacial Spike hits for 6k non-crit. I'll just show you this damage. So you guys saw the damage of the other classes, you know, enhancement hitting for about 1,000 with just normal damage. And then with Storm Strike procs or like a Lava Lash procs, it hits for about 2 to 3k. So now I'm going to show you Mage. I'll pop all of its cooldowns. I'll pop Veins. I'll pop Orb. So I'm in for about 3k per instant cast Ice Lance. Now I'll pop an Ebon Bolt into a Flurry, into this, and then hopefully I can get just an insane Glacial Spike here. This is what Glacial Spike damage is. 6.5k non-crit. Like, are you joking me? 6k non-crit? That's so much damage. We only have 21,000 health, and you're chunking that. That's almost a third of your health right there. That's a lot of damage. So I'm not going to level a Mage because, you know, I don't really like their playstyle. 15 blinks for me. Shimmer is just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. If you're able to cast a spell, like let's say a target's behind this pillar over here. If you're able to cast, let's say you're casting a polymorph and then you're able to blink and still cast the polymorph while the target's right here, like that's just so broken. And to be honest, shouldn't be in the game. But hey, I'm not complaining, or I'm trying not to complain. But Mage damage seems overscaled, to be honest. I'm not sure if I should base my opinion on Mages off of this, but they definitely seem like they're doing way too much damage. Now, they are super fun to play because they've got a bunch of cooldowns to press. You've got Ebon Bolt, you got Comet Storm, you got Ice Nova, you got Frozen Orb, you've got Veins, you've got Glacial Spike, and I think like a few other cooldowns with, and then you've got Ice Form, which grants you immunity to stun and knockback effects. So the old Legion Ice Form is back. So I have a feeling Mage is going to be completely overpowered in BFA, especially with the position that it's in right now. Yeah, but I'm not going to personally level Mage, but I'm just saying Mage is definitely in a good position. I'm going to start wrapping up this video because it's getting a little bit long. Havoc Demon Hunters, pretty cool playstyle. I probably won't play one. Now I'm going to get on to the last class, which is Warlock. Now, I think I might main a Warlock in BFA. Now, the reason for this is Warlocks are just so much fun to play. Their damage is crazy, too. It's not as broken as a Mage, but their damage is definitely very noticeable. Now, with PvP talents, you can get a pretty cool build here. You can get something called Pleasure Through Pain. While your Succubus is active, your shadow damage is increased by 15%, and the casting time of your Shadow Bolt is reduced by 0.5 seconds, making it a think it's like a 1.5 second or 1.2 second cast. It's very cool. Then you get a kick, so no longer double kick, but you do get a kick. Since you have a succubus out, and then you have your Fel Lord. So it's just a really cool combination, and I'll show you guys how it plays. So basically, you summon a bunch of imps and a Gul'dans. You get out your whatever these are, Dreadstalkers, and then you basically just start going ham with your damage. Once your Dreadstalkers end, you get 2 free charges of Demon Bolt, which equals more soul shards, which equals more imps. It's just broken damage. Once this goes, I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna call this dude, and I'm gonna summon my Fel Lord. As you can see, the playstyle is pretty cast heavy, but at the same time, it's super fun. You've got so many buttons to press. You've got rotations. Also, your wild imps have a chance to give you a proc of Demon Bolt, and it's just really fun to play. Now, this is just Demology. I'm not even going to go on to, or I will go on to Destruction. Destruction is super fun to play as well. I haven't had that much fun. I haven't had this much fun playing Destruction since WoD. But yeah, as you can see, the playstyle is really good. Plus, Implosion is just completely broken. I'm going to switch on to Destruction now. So I think my main for Battle for Azeroth is either going to be a Mistweaver Monk or a Destruction Warlock. Most likely some sort of Warlock because of just how much fun it is to play. I'll show you what Chaos Bolt is and how the rotation goes for a Destruction Warlock. Get up, immolate like you always do. And then it has a chance to proc Reverse Entropy, increasing your haste even more, and then you pop your Dark Soul and start casting. These Chaos Bolts are pretty short cast time. Now, although 1300 damage really isn't that much, I don't really care about the numbers scaling that much, even though that contradicts what I said earlier about Mage. But as you can see, it's pretty fun to play. You've got this like RNG proc with this increased haste, then you've got Backdraft back. Oh, there's a 4K bolt. And then you've just got a bunch of utility, a bunch of damage, and I haven't really played them in PvP, but I'm just going to assume that they're really tanky. You've got some cool PvP talents here. You've got Focus Chaos, increases your Chaos Bolt damage by 65%. Then you've got Conflag, roots enemies, and then you've got your Reflect. But you get to basically, you can even choose Cremation too for some nice cleave damage, but you've got a lot of class choice. That's probably the biggest thing I like about Warlock, is not only are all 3 specs viable, including Affliction, because you get Haunt back, but not only are all 3 specs viable, you also get a bunch of customization. So like you can see that this guy has his Fel Lord, I think it's called, out, or his pet that stuns. That's a talent now, so you cannot run with a lot of pets. You can run with a lot of pets. Whatever it is, it's all customizable. That's probably the biggest thing that I like about Warlock, is that any other class, they're not really that customizable. You kind of have to run a set spec, but with Warlock, man, you can customize all you want, and it's super cool. So yeah, I'm probably gonna main a Warlock in Battle for Azeroth. I know that this video was, oh crap, 20 minutes almost. But yeah, so for Battle for Azeroth, my choice is gonna be Warlock, Mistweaver with a Warrior alt most likely. So I really like Warlocks. They're just so much fun to play. I've already got the Transmog, which is nice. And then Monk, since it's my main from Legion, I'll carry it over. Again, most likely I'll split leveling. I'll do like 2 levels at a time between Warlock and Monk. Maybe just focus singly on Monk, or just focus singly on Warlock. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did watch it, I know it was pretty long. I'm not trying to copy Preach or anything. I was going to make this video regardless. But yeah, let me know what classes you guys are playing. Let me know what changes you guys like or dislike to your certain specs. And yeah, let me just share your opinion in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.